placements. There are several required components that we need to address today. One is the child find process, proportionate share, meaningful participation, allocation of services, and proposals of the non-public representatives. And we will go through all of this today. So children in private schools. District 25 provides proportionate share to students in your schools, regardless of their home address. So basically what this is saying is that students that attend private and parochial schools within the District 25 boundaries can participate in our proportionate share, regardless of where the children reside, wherever their home is. There are some definitions that we want to go through today. And the first is private school. Basically, what a private school is, a privately operated elementary or secondary school that provides an elementary or secondary curriculum. Child find. District 25's responsibility is to identify, locate, evaluate children with disabilities requiring special education that live within the District 25 boundaries, or, as I previously stated, attend a private school within our district boundaries. Some more definitions include the district of residence as well as our serving district. The district the district of residence is where the child with a disability lives, and the serving district is the public school district where the private school is located. Our child find process. Teachers, administrators, or parents may require an evaluation or request an evaluation to be completed through District 25. The private and parochial school will request a release of information from the parent prior to sharing this information with us in District 25. Staff from the private or parochial school must complete the referral paperwork prior to considering the evaluation request. Myself or someone within our district will consider the request and respond within 10 days. Copies of our referral packet process frequently asked questions documents are provided to schools at the beginning of the year, and they're also on our website. District speech and language pathologists are not responsible for managing child find requests for parochial schools, although they have been and continue to be helpful to facilitate this process. The child find process. I apologize. Here we go. I apologize for that. If we suspect that a child has a disability and would require the special education services, we will grant the request for the evaluation. District 25 students may or may not be referred to the team at their home public school to complete the evaluation. We must comply within timely evaluation, which is the 60 calendar days. Evaluations are not completed to help plan instruction in classrooms. The district relies heavily on the data from the private and parochial schools when determining the need for an evaluation, and not all evaluation requests are granted. The number of reevaluations that we completed this school year right now is 9. We still have 3 more in progress with meetings to be that are scheduled very shortly, or if not within the last week. The number of initial evaluations that we've completed were 7, and the number of requests that we denied was 2. Moving on, proportionate share. Every year, districts must use a portion of our IDEA funds to provide services to students in a parochial and homeschool setting. So the IDEA flow through are determined from 3 data elements: base year, total public and non-public enrollment, and as well as poverty. This is our proportionate share calculations. The state provides us with an estimated proportionate share calculation based on child count data. Final calculations are released in August. And as I said, these funds are allocated based on ISBE's formula, and the district is required to spend the amount dictated by ISBE. However, we do not have any influence or input into the amount allocated. Meaningful participation. Full-time private school students with disabilities have the opportunity for meaningful participation. District 25 ensures this meaningful participation by completing the child find, providing recommendations for eligible students. We provide direct speech and language services, and we will purchase tiered curriculum materials to supplement instruction as appropriate. Allocation of services. We provide direct speech and language services to private and parochial schools, as well as homeschool students. This service includes a 1.0 full-time equivalent speech pathologist that's allocated to provide direct service to participating parochial and private schools, as well as homeschool students. And then any extra funds that we have, we divide between all the participating schools, and that can be used to purchase additional materials or supplies as the school sees fit. Per the American Speech and Language Hearing Association, we do not have our SLPs, our speech and language providers, have more than 60 students on their caseloads. Our services are provided at St. James, Our Lady of the Wayside, and St. Peter schools, and that we follow the District 25 calendar. Students who are homeschooled may attend one of the private or parochial schools to receive their speech and language services. Parents must provide the transportation to this. Preschool services will be at Wayside. School age services are provided at one of the other parochial buildings. Consideration of proposals. The district will review new direct service proposals from officials of your private schools within 2 weeks of receiving them. The district will meet to discuss new proposals with representatives from the participating schools. We will work with the representatives to come to an agreement on changes to services, and we will respond in writing if we disagree. All services and materials remained under the control of the local school district, even when we are providing them to the private school. So in terms of documentation of our timely, meaningful consultation, this is what we need to do. We have to have a list of non-public and home schooling parents, our invitation letters, our newspaper advertisements, the attendance list for this meeting, any handouts, which will actually be on our website, as well as we can email them at this point, and then any forms that we need to have signed. And this is our requirement that we have to provide to the Illinois State Board of Education. Compliance. Private school officials may file a signed written complaint with the Illinois State Board of Ed. It must describe either the consultation was not meaningful or timely, or their views were not given due consideration. Provide any additional information. The complaint may not be used to challenge the decision-making of the district, so long as the decision-making of the district has been subject to the process of this timely, meaningful consultation. The Illinois State Board of Education will investigate the issue and decision in accordance with the required timelines. I'm going to ask Melanie to jump in here to discuss the CARES funds.
Okay, thank you everybody for attending. All of you should have received 2 emails from me, one with the traditional form, which I'll show you in 1 second, about non-public participation, and then a second one, which I sent out last night, which kind of gave you an update on the CARES Fund, because it seems that some of you didn't even know that non-public schools were going to be getting some funds. So number 1, you are getting some funds. Number 2, we're not sure how many funds because the state wants to know both your enrollment numbers as well as your low income students. I did have somebody ask me a question as to how am I supposed to know what my low income students are if we don't have the free and reduced lunch program? And the question is, that's a great question. So I've reached out to the state to figure out what other information we can use to gather those numbers. Maybe it's financial aid. Maybe they'll just take a percentage of your population. I'm not sure what the answer is right now. So I've reached out to the state so that they can give me a better answer. And I hope to have an answer for you hopefully by tomorrow so that we can fill out these forms. The short version is that the elementary and secondary emergency grant relief awarded money through CARES. We have that allotment to District 25, but what I need from you are the enrollment numbers and the low income numbers to then figure out what percentage of that allotment will be directed towards your school. I did just get an email from somebody else asking me, well, what can we use it for? Here, highlighted here, you'll see that it says districts are strongly encouraged to explore using these funds to strengthen your infrastructure for remote learning. So while the funds can be used for really anything that has to do with COVID-19 related costs, the hope is really that what you're trying to do is bridge the gap so that remote learning is possible for all students. And this money is made available now, but can pay any bills that started in March of 2020 through September of 2021. So if you have an outstanding bill that you're not sure how you're going to cover because you had to purchase something last minute, this money might be able to help you. If you're planning for the future and think you might want to purchase some sort of online something, this money might be able to help you do that. If you're not sure or you're looking at different options and you want to talk with me, please feel free to send me an email. That's what I'm here for, just to kind of bounce back ideas and see if we can find a solution to what it is you're trying to find. Peg, if you go to the next slide. Just so that you have the 2 forms that need to be filled. Oh, there they are. So the first one on the excuse me, left side of your screen is the traditional form that we've always had you fill out, which talks about Title I, Title II, and Title IV, and your participation in all of them. I sent the directions to that as well. And then the one on your right is the brand new form. And you'll notice that it's not just asking for enrollment numbers, but right there on the top underneath all your information about name of school and address, it's also asking for the low enrollment numbers. So please make sure you check off box yes, give me those 2 numbers, and then sign everything on the bottom and return to me. I do know that some schools are waiting for the powers that be above them to give them the okay to do that, and that's okay. But know that none of the funds can be released until I have the numbers from everybody. So I have to wait until everybody has given me all their information to put it into the formula to send to the state to then find out how much money everybody gets. And once we know that, Reem and I will be reaching out to you again via email to let you know how much money it is. And just like Title II funds, you'll purchase things through our office. So if anybody has any questions, I think we're happy to take them in the chat or later on. That's it for me. Thanks, Peg.
Peg, can I go ahead and chime in for Title III now?
Of course.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shab Polos. If you noticed in Melanie's information that she just shared, she said it's Title I, II, and IV. So I'm kind of the additional Title III. My portion is a little bit unique because it is only for students that are English learners. You received an email from me end of January or beginning of February to kind of describe how our district identifies English learners, instructs English learners, and then assesses. Traditionally, we have not had any participants from the parochial schools. There is a form that looks just like the ones Melanie shared on the screen, but it's for Title III, and that is also a mandatory form that needs to be filled out. You have always received that form from our administrative assistant, Reem Varghese, so you will also receive that from her. And similar to what Melanie described, we need all of them returned so that they can be entered into our state system. I'm happy to answer any questions, but if you go back and review the email that was sent to you, it lays out the procedures of how you qualify for any of the Title III. Thanks.
Okay, at this point,